Hey, what's up? It's your boy 12. I want to see how this shit goes. So today I'm reading from my book. It's called Riot God, and I'm just gonna start off from chapter one, you know. And I'm gonna read a few pages. I don't know, get into it. See what I wanna do with this. Hopefully this shit does well. If it does, I'm gonna continue. If it don't, hey, I tried. That that's all I can say. But hold on, let me get serious because this is pretty, pretty serious, pretty nifty. All right, so we start off with Reed mother. Basically, she's waking him up. She's telling him, you gotta get up. Time to start training, right? And Reed, he would roll over, look at the clock. You're like 4:30, and he basically, resuscitates that. Like, he's like, "Ma, it's like 4:30. What are we doing? Like, why are we up?" Right? His mom, being kind of quirky, I guess. She'd be like, "Well, it's 5:30 somewhere." So, you know what I'm saying? Plus, you was the one who asked for this training. And that leads into a flashback. Because, yeah, I do flashbacks. But nah, oh my goodness. I ain't gonna lie. I'm kind of worried about reading this. I mean, it's gonna become more natural as I go. But right now, I'm gonna lie. I'm trying to fucking it up. So, it flashbacks to middle school. Oliver is basically talking shit to Reed. Right? So he basically was like, "Hey, dickhead, you looking at my girl?" Grace, which is, as everybody can tell, she with Oliver. Right? She was basically telling him to stop, leave him alone. He probably wasn't even trying to. Right? Oliver would push Reed, and he'll call him, a freak, because that hurt people feelings sometimes. All right. Then it cuts into a explanation about how Reed has a lot of birth defects, and one of them birth defects is that his heart didn't grow together, so it's like two separate muscles, right? And in theory is weak as fuck because it's not fulfilling its full function, right? So yeah, that he got IED, which is an anger disorder, you know what I'm saying. He got ADHD, which is another behavior freaking disorder. I ain't gonna lie, I have both of those, but that don't matter to the story, okay? And he has just bad lungs too, so his lungs don't make, how do I explain this? Because it made sense when I was making it up, but I haven't edited this in a long time. So now I'm reading it. I don't really remember what made sense for me. But I'm pretty sure it was his lungs are not strong enough to pump enough oxygen that he needs. So sometimes he just blacks out. And not like just a blackout where he's fully conscious. Like he's alert and conscious, then he's sleep, and then you wake up, right? Which it ain't a good thing. It's fucking terrible. I'm not gonna lie. But when you fuse all of these things together, right? It creates a very, very unique type of display of anger. Because he will really rage until he fucking collapse. which is, pretty key, pretty cheeky way of getting the name for the story, if I do say so myself. But basically, it'll go into a blood rage where he'd just be extremely fucking violent, and he would just fight until his body just give up on him, like time out, right? So back to the story. All right. So after being called a freak and being pushed, Reed, he, already having, a very, very distinct, anger management problems, and on top of him not really being the best, at controlling himself. So he do what most people with anger management problems do, and we all think is logical. He punched that nigga in the back of his shit. Because, what other option did he really have? So, he punched him in the back of the head, and then he just continues to wail on him. And then, he blacks out. Because, the whole lung situation, he can't really breathe for real. So, him getting angry and wailing, kinda, he blacks out, right? So he wakes up in a hospital. And both his arms, like his hands to his forearm, is wrapped. And his head hurt, of course his arms hurt. His back hurt and his face hurt, right? So he wake up, he don't know what the fuck happened. Right? And the last thing he remembers is him, attending to Oliver, with his medical proceeds of hands. Did I say proceeds? Petite. Why the fuck can't I talk today? I ain't gonna lie. I've been stumbling over words all fucking day. I'm fuck it. I don't care. Expertise. There we go. I fucking did it. Yeah. I'm that nigga. But yeah, he'll wake up in the hospital. Basically, he will once in pain because he hurt, and he'd be like, what the hell happened? A nurse who was in there basically doing the IV bags and whatnot, she see that he's woke, and she basically is like, oh shit. And she telling the other nurse, go get his mother, right? Then the other nurse, she'd run off. She'd go get Reed's mom, right? And, basically nurse one, she being a nurse, she basically like, how you feeling, sweetheart? All that shit, asking him if he need blankets, water, if he's hungry, just being a nurse, right? So he basically trying to ask her what's happening, but before he could really get it out, his mom would come into the room. She came running into the room, and she crying her eyes out, and she see Reed and condition that he's in, and she like sad nigga, like no mother, well, no decent mother will be happy seeing their kids like that, right? So she crying, she basically like, what happened, who did this to her baby, she ready to sue, kill, or just, she don't know what she want to do, right? So the nurse basically telling her, please ma'am, stay calm, his conditions are stable now. And he listening to this, he like, stable? What do they mean stable? Like, was I unstable? And this is where it goes into the explanation of what happened to him. See, because due to what happened, is like, while he, when he was fighting Oliver, it got extremely bad to the point where security guards and teachers and other students was trying to stop it, and it just added to his total, count of hands that he needed to deliver, right? And as he's fighting all these people, it's not going without any type of, They're not about to just sit here and let themselves get beat up. Like, the security guards and shit, they trying to restrain him, but, you know, he's freakishly fucking strong. So he beating up security guards, teachers, other students. He get hit in the back of the head with a chair by one of Oliver's friends. Didn't phase him. He turned around, beat him up too. Oliver, you know, being the type of person that he is, you know, coming from a wealthy upper class family, he decided that not all fights should be fought with the hands. He got a poker, so he gonna poke this nigga. And that's what he did. He poked him right in the shoulder. But, you know, didn't do anything. He turned around, started wailing on him more. So, yeah, that's why his shoulder was messed up and his head and all this. As you could tell, like, a lot of stuff happened. A lot of dangerous things. He was bleeding a lot. So, Reed, he would have been like not alright by the time he got to the hospital. So his birth defects on top of blood loss and then the whole fight situation, his body wasn't strong enough to deal with a combined effort of all those things. So he would have died, you know. But, you know, due to the defibrillation process and whatnot, the only thing that did good come from, like, some good did come from this though, right? Because he can't be a main protagonist if he don't get his Zenkai boost when he get his ass beat. That's stupid. All right. So some good did come from this, right? So, unbeknownst to everybody else, Reed's two separate halves of a heart kind of develop into two full hearts, but only one was beaten because that's kind of how it was, right? So he had a whole second functioning heart that just was there, not doing anything, right? And due to the fight, the dying part, them defibrillating him, you know, electricity shot to the heart. I'm thinking y'all know where this went. So when he woke up, both hearts jump started. They was off the Zans. They was ready. And at the same time that happened, it kind of triggered an evolution of sorts within Reed. Right? That's not really known. It ain't like anybody can physically see anything changing with him. But that is something for later in the story. I already had the plot point for that figured out. Don't worry about it. Alright? So, Reed, after the explanation, sorry, kind of all over the place. But after that explanation, Reed, you know, he would start talking to his mom. He'd be like, "Mom, I'm okay. I'm not even hurting that much. And besides, I always healed faster than normal. So I'm okay." Which is a real thing. He always did heal just a little faster than normal children, which is basically like the signs that something was there, but it was never that drastic, right? So that happened. Reed mom, you know, she started crying. As she would cry, he would, you know, grab her, bring her into a hug, you know, rubbing her back, you know, rubbing her head, making sure she okay, trying to convince her that, you know, he's okay. But at the same time, he will be in a lot of fucking pain because, you know, pain don't just disappear like that, especially after what he went through, right? And it might not sound like much right now because it was at the beginning, but I already made this is a little bit of a spoiler. I'm gonna read the story till we can get to that point. But basically, a video of what he did is out there on the internet, like unfiltered, uncut, raw footage of what he did to people. Right? That's all I wanted to say because it don't sound like much because he don't know much. So, you know, it's kind of narrated from his point of view, in a way. So it sounds lackluster, like nothing big happened, because he don't really know what happened. But trust, it was 100 times worse than he think it was. right? But other than that, he hiding the pain because that's what men do. You know what I'm saying? You just tank that shit. Let me stop. But he hiding the pain because he don't want her freaking sad and shit. So he's smiling and shit, and he trying his best to calm her down, but he's still hurting himself. So after a few minutes, the doctor will walk in. They start talking to Reed's mother about his conditions. And as they leave, heading towards the hallway to continue their conversation, Reed was, he would sit up. He'll look at his hands, see the blood leaking out of the bandages. He like, fuck, that's not good. So he would attempt to try to get out of the bed to like go, undo the bandages and rewrap them himself. So like his mom don't see. But in the attempt of doing that, he fall out of the bed, falling onto the floor. He hit his head when he hit the floor, which would trigger a memory, right? And he don't know much, but all he can see is, I don't really know how to explain it. It's like a memory, but it's in segments. It's not the full thing yet. So it cuts from him beating on Oliver, basically breaking his jaw, right, to him fighting some security guards, to his head starting to hurt, to him fighting somebody else, and then it just starts fading out again. So that's the last thing he really remembered, was that Oliver's jaw and his nose were broke, and he ended up hurting a few other people, but not nothing else have really kicked in yet. So while that's happening and he going through his whole memory thing, Reed's mother's talking to the doctor, and basically she basically telling him, well, he did lose a lot of blood due to the stab wounds, and the whole heart stopping situation because of not much oxygen, already previous diagnosed conditions. So he basically saying like he's extremely lucky, he's stable, and they gonna do more tests and shit on him, and they want to do an MRI scan on his head because they did know that he took significant blows to the head, like not just one, it was like multiple. So they do want to check his head, but she ain't got the money to pay for that type of stuff. So yeah, that's kind of how it happened. She was like, if he show any signs of like memory loss, or doctor basically telling her like, if you show any signs of memory loss, or blanking and not understanding or doing certain things, that she should probably bring him back. But yeah, she ain't got the money to pay for shit like that because it's basically like they don't have nobody to lean on besides each other, because Reed's mother, she's an orphan, basically Reed's father, he went basically MIA, and they met in the military, but basically he was called out on the last type of missions situation, and he never came back, and it been 9 years. So yeah, they really don't got nobody to rely on. And his dad side of the family, they like might play a role in the story, but that's where I'm gonna leave it off. I mean, it's getting pretty long. If niggas want me to continue it, I will. I just wanted to see how it would go. So hey, let me know if you want more. I mean, that ain't even the first chapter. Like, that's just a little bit into it. But yeah, let me know if you like it. tell me, you know, be in the comments, you know what I'm saying, more Riot God or whatnot. You know, I'm gonna read them, I'm gonna like them, all that good shit. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, because if you're not, why are you not? That's weird. That's weird. You just listen to me talk this entire video and you never thought about subscribing. That's weird. You're weird. But with that being said,
why you had to do me like that? Now I'm sitting here beating my meat, writing this song. I got the lotion in my left hand,